Bernie Sanders recently endorsed Cenk Uygur, who's running for the 25th district seat in California to replace Katie Hill. And just the day after Bernie endorsed Cenk, he was kind of forced to rescind that endorsement because of a lot of the pressure, I guess. Well, we actually don't know the exact reason why he rescinded it, but we could guess a lot of it had to do with a lot of the pressure he was receiving from these various groups who wanted him to not support Cenk Uygur because of the sexist and misogynist comments that Cenk has made in the past, which he has vehemently apologized for and said how stupid and ignorant the things that he has said in the past, and seems to have learned and grown from that. And then once that endorsement from Bernie was rescinded, Cenk went on Twitter, and I'll read what he said. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the endorsements of Bernie Sanders, Ro Khan, and Nina Turner, and local progressive groups that gave me their support. Their stance took real courage in the face of corporate media and Democratic establishment onslaught. I want to be free of any influence other than the voters of California 25. I will not be beholden to corporations, lobbyists, or special interest groups, and I will not stand by while those groups attack my political allies. That's why I have decided I will not be accepting any endorsements. My job is to represent the voters and the voters alone. The only endorsements I'll be accepting going forward is that of the voters of California 25. And then I'll read to you what Bernie said. Cenk Uygur has been a longtime fighter against corruption. However, our movement is bigger than any one person. I hear my supporters who are frustrated and understand their concerns. Cenk today said he is rejecting all endorsements for his campaign, and I retract my endorsement. So he didn't exactly get into the exact reasons or examples of why he was retracting that endorsement, and we might not ever know, honestly. But it's very interesting. I think we really need to focus in on the fact that these attacks against Cenk are about things he has said in the past, things he has disavowed, apologized for, learned from, grown from, and not attacks or critiques on his policy or his positions that he's advocating for, because again, you can't really attack those on the merit, because a vast majority of Americans support things like Medicare for all, free college, reining in Wall Street, higher taxes on the wealthy, ending the offensive regime change war, legalizing marijuana, things like that. They're not going after him for those policy positions. The establishment is trying to attack things he said and done in the past, because they're trying to find something to get traction, because he's the most progressive candidate running to replace Katie Hill in the California's 25th district, and he's a threat to the status quo, the neoliberal centrist wing of the Democratic Party. And so that's why these attacks are coming at him. And I think the more momentum the establishment sees that his ideas and his campaign has, the more this smear campaign is just going to go into hyperspeed to try to drum up whatever politically incorrect thing he said or done in the past, even if he has since refusely on many occasions apologized for it, learned from it, and has grown from it, and doesn't seem to be making those same lapses in judgment, now or into the future. And so I think that's what we really need to focus on, is like, why are they attacking him for these things he said, some of them 10 plus years ago, and things he's disavowed. And also that the whole kind of purity test, or the whole purity test on the left, we need to kind of get away from that. If this had happened to a politician on the right, they would have immediately doubled down and said, I'm not rescinding my endorsement. I stick by this person. Yes, they had some lapses or errors in judgment in the past and said some, pretty messed up and hurtful things, but they have since apologized for that many times. They've learned from that. They seem to have grown from that. I don't think they're going to exhibit that same poor behavior in the future. Additionally, the biggest reason I support them is because they support policy position A, B, C, D, E, F. List whatever you want. The right would, double down on their candidate when something like this would happen. And I think the left, us on the left, can really learn something from that, because we need to get away from this whole kind of purity politics culture and realize that we all say messed up things, and have done messed up things as far as our behavior goes in the past. And the important thing is that we can learn and grow from that, try to be better humans, try to be more compassionate and empathetic, and realize that nobody's perfect, and that includes people running for political office. And what we really should be focusing on is their policy platform. What are they advocating for? How are those policies going to help or hurt people in the California's 25th district and people across the United States? Because things that Cenk Uygur supports, like Medicare for all or free college, that's going to benefit basically everybody in the United States. And it seems like his corporate challengers, at least what little information there is out there about them, don't support these progressive policy positions. And that's why the establishment is doing everything they can to hobble Cenk Uygur's campaign, because they don't want another progressive who's going to take on the moneyed elites, the corporate interest, those type of things, because they see him as a direct threat. So, and they can't attack him on his policy positions because they're very popular. So they're trying to attack his character by labeling him as a sexist, as a misogynist. And yes, he did say sexist and misogynist things in the past, but again, he has disavowed them, apologized for them repeatedly, said they were stupid, he shouldn't have said them, and they were ignorant things to say. But again, he's learned from them. I don't think he's going to say those things in the future, and he's going to advocate and fight for policies that are going to benefit the vast majority of people in the United States and California's 25th district. And that's what we should really be focusing on, not trying to find a perfect political candidate who's never said or done anything politically incorrect, because I don't really think that type of person exists. We all say and do messed up things, and the important thing is to learn from those mistakes. And for as an example, would you rather have a person who has never said or done anything in their past that was politically incorrect, or at least we don't know about that stuff, but advocates for more neoliberal centrist policies that are only going to help the wealthy and the corporations get ahead, while everybody else continues a downward decline into poverty and lack of healthcare, lack of education, lack of infrastructure? all these different things? Or would you rather support somebody, who said some politically incorrect things in the past, has learned from that, and apologized for it repeatedly, and then also supports a very progressive platform, things like Medicare for all, free college, legalizing marijuana, a living wage, those type of things that will benefit those voters and the people more broadly in the United States. I would much rather support that latter candidate than the first one. We need to look past, these whole political correctness culture and look at what policies and platforms the candidates are supporting. That's why I definitely stand behind Cenk Uygur. I will leave the link to his campaign in the description box below, and we need to do everything we can to get him elected to Congress for California's 25th seat, because we need as many strong progressive voices as we can in Congress to get these, really important things like universal health care and free college passed. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, on Bernie first endorsing Cenk Uygur and then rescinding it, and the kind of political ramifications for that, or anything else around this topic.